Yeah, I met Leo like I don't even remember what year it was. Was
Four
it?
or 5 years back.
I think it was 2021 or 2020. It was like right in the middle of COVID when COVID first started, right? And I'm like immediately I could tell this dude had like a spark for creativity. So I got a couple questions here for him now that he's like this much further into the creative career and where he's at now. That I just kind of wanted to get some insight on where his head is now, his reflectiveness on how he got here, and how that might be able to translate to somebody else who wants to maybe take those first steps as well, even if it's not like in this space, but just following that creative journey. Just because in the last couple of days, I have found myself asking this question, like, what is creativity? You know what I mean? Like, why are we creative? Where does creativity come from? How do I maintain creativity? Stuff like that. So I have some questions here that I want to ask that kind of like go down that road, and we'll just see where it goes.
Love that.
My first question for you is, what made you want to start creating content in the first place? Like, what was it that you're like, not specifically like, oh, I want to do, maybe like you want to do news broadcasts, right? But like, that's not necessarily like content in the same manner that this is. What made you want to do content like this?
Yes. So I'll backtrack a little bit because you did open up the creativity subject, which is so exciting for me. I love creativity. I want to reiterate my definition of what creativity is because I feel like it really ties into my philosophy of creating. Creativity to Leo means solving a problem with a limited amount of resources.
Well, was this my bottle or your bottle?
This is mine. That's yours.
Cool.
Solving a problem with a limited amount of resources.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
The reason I came up with this is I looked for places that were void of creativity. The places that are void of creativity, to me, is like a corporate office where you have a job to print things, do things, repeat them over and over again. And they're essentially in that space, there are no problems. Everything has already been solved for them. They are there to produce in a certain way, and there's no problem for them to solve. And even if they found a problem, it's not their job to solve it. So that's the first thing that's missing for you to be creative, and it's not there. So you don't find creativity in that particular space. The second thing is limited resources, right? People that have more resources are typically, especially in their upbringing, less likely to be creative, in my opinion, because sometimes I look at these videos from like India, and you have a bunch of kids that have like carved this mudslide into this mountain
inside of the hill or something.
Inside of the hill, and they're sitting on like 16 peeled open bottles that they've sewn together and they made a slide out of. And I'm like, that's so creative. Well, where did that creativity come from? It came from the limited resources. So because
I didn't think of it that way. I like that. I was recording this thing yesterday asking about that, like, and from like off the dome, for me, creativity was like an expression of self or an expression of a message, regardless of what the message is. But yeah, like for the kids that like make something out of nothing, or even like the kids making stuff out of trash, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's not an expression. That's just solving a problem. You know, I like
but
that.
It's primarily creative.
Yeah.
It's some of the most pure forms of creativity.
It's something that like everybody has too. Because like I think whether you're artistic or not, you are creative in some sort of manner. You know what I mean? Like if you can solve a problem, that's creative as well. Like guys that build rockets, you know what I mean? That's creative, but it's like very scientifically creative. Maybe that's the distinction. Scientific creative versus artistic creative, you know?
Or maybe science is the tool that you use to create. It's a tool for creativity. So a scientist, instead of having, a brush or a video editing software or a camera, he has a tool of science, and that's his art form. His art form is he does have limited resources to get to the moon, and look at how creative he's going to be. He's going to use these particular tools instead of it being Control-Z/Enter/ Premiere Pro / DaVinci Resolve. It's science, and it's rocket science, and it's aerodynamics, and it's fluids, and how do we get to use these laws of nature to do what we want to do? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's my definition. Is like, again, it's solving a problem with limited resources. When I find those two conditions available, I find some of the most amazing forms of creativity.
Right.
And I feel like how I find this in the industry is on set. When you're on set, no matter how many C-stands your production has brought, no matter how many lights your production has brought,
every time they get it done,
they get it done, and then you immediately go, you finish. I was on a shoot not too long ago. They had 2 truckloads of just stuff. I'm like, how are we ever going to use this? I promise you within like 6 hours, everything was done. Like, can I get a C-stand? I'm sorry, we're done with C-stands. What do you mean we're done with C-stands? We have like 20. Yeah, we're done with C-stands. All right, give me a combo stand. Give me this, give me that. And once there was a saturation, there was a limitation of resources. That's when you started to see these gaffers and these DPs go bananas with creativity. Mm-hmm. That's where it came out. And that's, to me, what creativity
is. The technical side of things.
The technical, like, all right, let's lose the Mathellini and let's put it on the goalpost here and let's do this and that and, you know, put the hair light over here, whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's because they had a limited amount of resources. They had to use creativity at that point.
Yeah, that's really cool. A limited amount of resources. That's, wow. I think that might be something I want to try to implement in my own YouTube channel soon. Is solving problems with limited resources. You know what I mean? Like on a budget, you know, like that's really cool. When did it click for you that sharing your ideas was important? Like what was the moment that was like, I need to get this out there. You know, I need to be able to make this accessible. Like what was that?
So the reason why I started making content was that I was in so many different industries throughout my life, mm-hmm. and I'm a very technical person. I would get really good at whatever I'm doing in the 2-3 years of doing it, but I would struggle in telling the world how good I am at it. Mm-hmm. Like I would do, let's say I'm doing sales. I'd get really good at sales, but the bottleneck to my growth would be like, all right, so how do I broadcast this to the world? So I started using my phone and, you know, just doing a little fun talking head video. I'm like, why does my double chin look so weird from the bottom? Or why do I look so small looking from the top? Or why is the color shifting from blue to yellow consistently with this auto white balance that used to be in the old phones? Or why is the focus kind of jumping around? These were problems that I was facing, and they would bother me because I'm trying to send a message about what I'm doing, what I'm selling, how good I am at this thing. Come buy from me, use my services. And there's this distracting element in this whole experience that is just, it's making me look bad.
Yeah.
So I started, okay, so what do I got to do? How do I get rid of this yellow blue shift? Oh, there's this thing called white balance. White balance in phones, it's an automatic feature. In your camera device, you can actually control exactly how your camera interprets
control
that yellow blue bias. And I was like, okay, cool. I fixed that. Yeah, my colors are amazing. Why do I look so big on camera? Like I'm a chunky guy. I always tried to like avoid looking overweight and try to make myself look better. And naturally, just like with girls in makeup or men with clothing, or you always want to look your best with what you have. Yeah. So I would always try to take the right angle and try to make myself look, a little bit more thin. And I'd be like, all right, so you're supposed to shoot eye level, use this lens, not that lens. If shoot with a very tight 85 and no one has to see your belly, like that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a big part of it, which was like just perfecting the art of delivering a message to an audience. And then I'm like, music, how do you add music? Well, when I add the music, it starts to compete with the audio and the dialogue. How do I do it in a way where they don't compete? And this thing started unfolding into buying enormous amounts of gear, testing out different types of equipment, buying crazy amounts of lights. And there was a point in time, to answer your question on the dot, there was a point in time where I looked at my gear and I think I had like 2 A7S3s and an enormous amount of lights, and everything was in my room. There was a point where I literally felt like I was in a C-stand jungle sleeping in my room. Like because I would put the C-stands right next to my bed, I would be afraid that when I'm sleeping, they would tip over and fall on me. And it's like 5 C-stands. And I look around, I'm like, this is not a normal room.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a hobby anymore.
Yeah.
This is not something that this does not fit in the way I'm facilitating. It's like when you have a baby and you have a second baby and you're like, okay, the car officially does not fit this many children. I need a bigger car. For me, that point in time was like, all right, either I stop doing this thing or I start to facilitate and accommodate for the expansion of this desire. And that was the moment where I started making content, selling content to
making
businesses,
a business out of it. Making a business out of selling to businesses then, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, just because they want to learn something and then they'll go down the rabbit hole and realize, oh crap, this camera's $4,000. Oh, this lens is $2,000. Or sometimes it's vice versa. A lot of times, depending on what camera it is, the lens is more expensive. But and then they realize, oh, I have to learn how to use this software. Oh, and I'll spend a week watching YouTube tutorials and I'll start making content. And like you can do that. You can. But it takes time. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people just think that they can just jump right into the cockpit of a 747 and think that they can fly from here to anywhere.
Yes.
But it takes, like you said, after however many dollars spent, it takes a lot of time to get to the point where you're comfortable putting out and proud of what you're putting out. You know what I mean? Because you've put that time in. You know, and that's the difference between somebody who wants to do something because it's fun and somebody who wants to do something because it's a calling. It takes the time, the dollars, and the expertise to be able to know how to do that and get it done correctly and learn how to learn, you know? So I think that's, and I can see that in the space, you know what I mean?
Thank you. And you hit the nail on the head with that. A lot of people think that picking up a camera and producing something is going to be easy.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, I don't know what it is about cameras that gives that impression.
I don't know either. I wonder that. Like, why do people think they can just pick up oh, I'll just use the camera? It's like, no, you won't.
Yeah. and no, you won't for years.
Yeah,
It's like, even if you wanted to and you're dying for it, it's going to take years. But I think it was the incorporation of a camera into your phone. I think that was the first time where there was an element of photography at your disposal at any moment in time, virtually at any budget.
Everybody's like, oh, I can use this. I can use the other thing too.
Same thing,
no,
yeah. And especially because it's the content on social media makes a lot of things are produced on the phone. A lot of things are produced with cameras. So they were put in the same arena. And by being put in the same arena, you feel like I can do that. It's kind of like on the freeway, like there's trucks and there's cars. I can drive a truck. He drives on the freeway just like I do. What's a truck? Maybe driving a truck is this insanely complex thing that we don't understand. I remember hitching just a little wagon to the back of my car, and then right becomes left when you're reversing, and left becomes right. And it's a whole, I'm like, I can't do this. I need to stop. Maybe it's one of those things where because we're in the same arena, we feel like it's possible. Yeah.
Well, and like I don't want that message to be like misconstrued as just because it's difficult, you shouldn't try. You know, you should definitely try. But you know, you have to go into it knowing that it's going to take time. Like creativity is an idea, but the process is being able to take that creativity, that thing you see in your head, and turning it into something either physical or on the screen. You know what I mean? And getting it to look the way you want it to look.
Yeah.
Like that's where the effort comes in. That's where the I think I'm about ready to give up comes in. That's where maybe I'll hang up the towel next week comes in. But you just got to keep going. You know,
100%. And not only is it not us talking about this as professionals. Not only is it not us, what's the word? We're not discouraging you from picking up a camera. That's not what's happening. What's happening is that there's a feature of the human bravery that makes it think that you can. There's a feature of the human mind, this innocent bravery that you can do things that you really can. And we just so happen to be in one of the industries where that happens a lot. But really, this attitude, don't take that anywhere. Not just with cameras. Don't walk into anything thinking it's easy. Don't pursue anything because it's easy.
Respect it and understand.
Respect it, understand it, because there's the person that's flocking to buying a $3,000 camera thinking it's easy is the same person flocking to a crazy gym membership that they're never going to use. That's just getting into relationships with people that might not fit with them, thinking that I'm going to make it work. It doesn't matter what's a relationship. Like actually respect and be mindful and intentional with challenges in life. And understand that if someone else is doing it out there and they're advanced at it, then maybe there's a complexity. Just maybe there's a complexity there that takes years to
learn and get comfortable with. And I think that goes back to the like knowing when it's time to start making content is where it's like I have all this stuff and I have all this ambition, like I might as well do it. Because like there was a time where I would buy gear or get a piece of software, for example. Be like so jazzed to get into it. Like Blender was a perfect example. Like I want to learn Blender, and every time I want to dive in, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna start with some simple tutorials. Get to learn the basics and stuff. But I'm not consistent with it because I put so much time into making videos too, and then having to balance like my regular work life and then just like life. But I've so many times I've gone into it with like this like I'm just gonna learn it fast and then I'll have some 3D experience, dude. And then I get in, I'm just like, man, all these buttons and they keep moving it around from the last update. But it's like, I don't have that patience. You know what I mean? And having that is important if you're going to do this type of thing. But
and you have a lot on your plate.
Well, yeah. But I mean, like everybody does, you know what I mean? That doesn't make me special, so to say, but that's something to keep in mind. Like if you're going to start making content, like it's going to take some time, but that's why I think like just in general, like I guess business model would be the right word for this. Just the business model that you have set up here is just excuse my French, really fucking cool. Just because you don't, if you have something to say, you can come in and just say it. You know what I mean? And you've made that business out of learning the things and figuring out what's what and how much time do I need to spend on this or what gear do I need to get that somebody else doesn't necessarily have to. And this type of business model, I think, is really good in this space just because podcasts are exploding in popularity. You know what I mean? Like there's so many more podcasts now than there were even just like 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's like this type of thing is really smart, really cool, man.
Thank you so much. I really believe that, and we'll get to that second question in a second, but I really believe that podcasts are going to be a very, very big deal in a few years' time because when AI takes over the video space, the raw human interaction is going to be so, in trend. It's going to be so desirable. You're going to want to hear someone like me who's stuttering, who goes off on a tangent, who
maybe than that perfect robot voice.
Than that perfect robot. People are going to value this imperfection of humanity, and it's going to be one of the biggest indicators that this was a real conversation. Like, how do we know this isn't this AI? This 30-second clip is AI or not?
I keep stuttering, or something
exactly.
Like that.
It's so like maybe raw. Like
this annoying.
Well, but there's like many interruptions. There's like maybe there's a question you asked that I answered in a wrong way, and when we look at the edit, we're gonna be like, dude, we completely went off topic there.
But we're not AI.
Exactly.
Like that. That's a really good perspective. Actually, that's crazy. Just because like even in my day-to-day work, we use AI voices a lot, just because it's faster and it's cheaper, and a lot of the times like it's better to get what you're looking for. Like if you have something in your head that you know you want, it's easier to find it with AI in terms of voices, than browsing a bunch of listings and trying to find somebody with the perfect voice, and then you send something out and it comes back and it's just like, that wasn't supposed to be said that way. Can we maybe like turn it down this way? Then they charge you more for a revision. So like in that context, wow, yeah, I can see the value in podcasts. And like it's funny. I feel like on the internet there's this sentiment that everybody's got a podcast now, but that's just the natural flow of things. I think like that's just how the industry is moving. So get on the train or stay where you are. And
also podcasts are the value of podcasts, because it's such a basic form of video. It's literally just a person talking.
And it's just, cutting back and forth, listening to what they have to say.
You're listening to a person. It is not valuable in the way that other videos are valuable. Other videos, they have edits. There's a layered narrative. Trends are very relevant when it comes to the way you edit, how long the video is.
And there's like a structure of some sort.
There's a structure of some sort. With podcasts, they are pegged to one of the oldest forms of storytelling that humanity.
Just a normal conversation.
Just a conversation. I love, when I'm at work, I love listening to Josh talk about his, visit to the masseuse and how funny it was because, he was making the weirdest sounds and everyone was like, what's going on? And just the raw storytelling, people sharing their experiences, being able to use the oldest facilities for storytelling, which are facial expression
and hand gestures.
These things are. This was editing back in the day. That's why theater was so advanced. Like 100 years ago, because that's all it was. Like yell, scream, shout, excited.
Oh, man,
music.
You know what's crazy? Yeah, you saying that right now just made me just kind of like realize how long this has been around. Because even just 100 years ago, like the film camera was already a thing. There's already big motion pictures. So it's like we're that far into the progression of this industry and this field that 100 years ago isn't even like very long.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a trippy thought.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's a scope of time.
Yeah, going back to like Shakespeare, you know what I mean? Like his plays were so layered and very detailed in a lot of different ways that people flocked to go see it because it was the closest thing to a movie at the time. Like Shakespeare is popular because Shakespeare wrote movies, of movies of the time. So, wow, that's incredible insight. For someone who might be on the fence about starting, and I think we already touched on this a little bit in the last question, but for somebody who's on the fence about like, maybe I want to get this camera or I want to get this software or learn something, starting anything creative.
Yes.
Like for someone who's on that fence, how do they know it's the right time?
Okay, so first you need to understand where this is coming from. Where is this desire to create and specifically create videos? Where is it coming from? Are you bored? Are you bored of your job? Are you in a lonely, bored phase of your job and this is just a temporary thing that you're going to do? Are you someone who is just trying to, are you someone who goes through a lot of fads in their life and this is another fad?
Yeah, it's just like another phase that you're just going to be into. Yeah, yeah.
Be very critically honest with yourself about, if you're even like watching a podcast like this and you're listening to these, you're asking these questions, then you're probably a serious person. Be very serious and honest with yourself about what it is you want to achieve with this, and how strongly you feel about it. If the answer is I'm just having fun, or I'm just bored, or it's a fad, then just, you know, get an A7 IV Max and a 24-70, and you have done you had the most luxurious investment in a hobby that you will ever make. Like,
it's an expensive investment in a hobby if that's all you want it to be.
Yeah, just do that. Get a Sony A7 IV, a 24-70, and just make fun little videos, and you know, do whatever you want and enjoy it. And don't ever try to do anything more. Just keep it at that.
If that's all you want.
And that's all you want. And there's this person is probably an accountant. They're probably a lawyer. Like, you're already a successful person elsewhere. It's amazing that you chose this as a hobby. I love that. I'd keep doing that. If you are like, all right, listen, I'm already someone else and I already have another job, but I feel so strongly about this that I can't stop thinking about it.
That's how I am, man. Like, even like my work, my day job is in video production, and even then, like, during the day, I can't stop thinking about, like, how would I do this? Like, how do I set my project up or my nodes up or whatever layers and blend mode so that I could achieve this outcome? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, like, I'll be having a conversation, and I'm not saying like right now, but like sometimes I'll be having a conversation with somebody, looking them dead in the eye, talking, but like my mind is so completely somewhere else, and my mind is, what node comes first? What blend mode do I set? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's the better tone and pacing for that? And that's for me, like, how I know I'm in the right field, you know?
Absolutely.
And I think somebody might be able to take that and get some perspective on just how you feel about where you are with regards to, like, what questions do you ask yourself 100%. On a daily basis? You know what I mean?
100%. Yeah, you definitely have that drive, and that's why you're here, right? That's why you've gone this far. If you feel that strongly about it, and you've tried to yank yourself out of this and it's not working, and I say that, you have to be kind of aggressive with this, because you're going down a very lonely path. You're going down a path that challenges are against you, especially with the barrier to entry. You can buy an entry-level camera or even use your phone to make videos. Suddenly you are competing with
the world,
a 5-year-old with a phone in his hands. So you, in terms of a business idea, you have set yourself up for failure. And you have to be the guy that is just jumping between the coals and the fire to make it to his destination. You will make it. You'll be very successful in the end. But if it didn't mean to you, if the desire to achieve this wasn't far greater than any other feeling or pain that you're going to experience, you will not make it. You'll just go back to doing anything else. And I just don't recommend that you go down the road. It has to be that strong. Like, if I'm being discouraging now and that's enough to turn you off, then I've done my job.
Yeah.
Because you're going to see way more. You're going to see way more forms of discouragement.
You just have to keep trying if it's something you want to do, you know what I mean? Because like we said, you're going to fail and it's going to be discouraging. But like, if you want to keep doing it, like, you have to keep going.
You're going to look people in the eye and they're going to be like, dude, you're wasting your life. You're crazy. Did you spend this much money on this? You're not making money. You haven't made money in months. Why are you still doing this? You need to support your family. There's so many things. And if your desire isn't strong enough, that stuff will stop you. I'm telling you. So yeah, I mean, quit. And if you don't, keep going.
Right. Yeah. Like, if it comes back to you, like, what do they say? If you love something, set it free.
Exactly.
Like, yeah. And if you can't, like, for me, like, I'll take like 2 or 3 days off from like working on a YouTube video, and like, perhaps, like, if you follow my upload schedule, maybe it does. I don't know what it looks like from the outsider's point of view, but like, for me, like, all of my free time now, my mind is just about, how do I continue to make content out of whatever is happening currently? You know, is there something in the creative news space that I could talk about? Or is there this idea that I had that I think I want to elaborate on, to teach people about? And it's like, it's all I think about. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be able to go on vacation anymore without thinking about, what am I going to do when I get back? You know, how am I going to keep going? But as much of a blessing as that is for what I do, it's also like a curse sometimes, like knowing when to take a break, when to relax, you know? But for me, that's confirmation that, like, I'm where I'm supposed to be, you know what I mean? And, I have found a way to support myself with it. So, it definitely took a very long time, and I was making videos, mind you, not getting paid for them, just making videos for 12 years before I like finally started to get paid for it. And it, like in that time, it was just the hobby. You know what I mean? But like as I got older, I was realizing like it's time to take it a little more seriously. You know, like you were saying, definitely something to keep in mind if you're like on the fence about when to start.
100%.
Yeah. For you, what is the most rewarding part of this? Like, in terms of like the meaning and the purpose and the payoff, like not necessarily like, oh, I can afford to pay bills. You know what I mean? Like, what is the fulfilling thing for you that like on a more human level?
Yeah. So, number one, watching things come into existence that would have never come into existence if it wasn't for me.
Right.
That to me is a very big deal. When I look at something like the studio, you know, by the grace of God, I'm so thankful for every helping hand and everything that happened to facilitate this to come into existence. But I don't think this place in this particular location would exist in Old Town Orange if Leo didn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at it and I'm like, this is so amazing. Like this is for you know, there's so many things we can be contributing to humanity, to society, to the community. And there's so many things that so many people that don't do anything for society, or they're so caught up with their demons that with bad habits, with alcohol, with whatever it is that's keeping you away from producing. Some people live a life where they don't really give their best. They don't produce something that didn't exist. They just follow the pattern. They just keep going. But I like to feel like I did something new with what God gave me. Mm-hmm. And this feels like something new. I came up with these ideas.
Yeah.
I put this stuff together. I made every creative decision of how this is going to come into play.
Yep.
Even as a business model, I'm not the only podcast studio out there, but I didn't really research podcast studios. I just did what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened to be a rental podcast studio, but I didn't really look into a business model or see my competitors and see what they're doing. I just created it, and I was like, what is this called? Oh, it's called a podcast studio that you rent to people. Mm-hmm. That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
But I created something that came from within me that didn't exist. And when I go to sleep at night, that is so fulfilling to me.
Yeah. Like having made something that otherwise, like you said, otherwise wouldn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah, that's I think that's a really good answer. For me, one of the most fulfilling parts of what I do, especially in YouTube, is getting comments like, this is exactly what I was looking for, or I can relate to this. You know, I feel a certain way about this, and this is why. And it's like, those are real people on the other side of those experiences. You know what I mean? Whether they're in here talking about whatever their podcast is about, or like saying thank you in comments. I don't know, but like, it's not a robot you're talking to. You know what I mean? That for me is just like so just fulfilling, because like you said, AI is everywhere now, and it's only going to continue to flood the market and flood the zone. So yeah, having that human touch, I think, is very, very valuable in the context of what we do, you know what I mean, for our jobs and how we keep people afloat, you know what I mean? Because like podcasts and content are what keep people going now, you know, like on the way to work, on their runs, you know, having their breakfast, you know, like watching the news perhaps, but maybe it's not like the news, maybe it's industry updates, you know, from somebody on YouTube, you know, stuff like that. That's it's the circle of content, you know what I mean? Circle of life in this instance. Do you think that content creation changes the way that you think or live? Like, has it influenced like your day-to-day inner thoughts within yourself?
Absolutely. So I would always look at a lot of content on social media, especially lifestyle content. Mm-hmm. And I would always ask myself, like, does their room actually look like that? Does their house actually look like that? Is that actually their laundry room? What gym do they go to? Why is everything so picturesque? Mm-hmm. And I know it's unhealthy to believe that, you know, people live in this picturesque world, but I feel like that has started to influence my design choices in my space. Now when I'm decorating my room, I take into consideration camera angles, the way things look, and it's not even I might never film in there.
Yeah.
But I feel like because this was a new standard that was created of how things should look, my whole life, all my spaces look so much better. Everything looks amazing because I keep thinking from the angle of like, how does this look? Like, really be honest about visually, how does this look?
Yeah.
You know, weigh things. If you treat this as a frame, how does it weigh out? And if I feel like, you know, my spaces are minimal, I try to, you know, make it very functional, but still pleasing to the eye. When you look at it, it motivates you to work. And
seeing it and thinking like, I could work with this.
I could work with this. Yeah, I feel like social media has definitely done that to it influenced the way I design my spaces, if that answers the question.
Yeah. That's really good. For me, it's like, Could I make a video about this? Is the question that I end up asking myself, you know, like, do I have enough questions or enough drive about whatever this topic is or whatever this specific question that's come into my head, to be able to research it enough to make a video? Like, in my experience, like seeing something like, oh, that's interesting. Wonder if I could make a video about that. You know, I wonder if other people are as interested in that as me. Has been like my inner voice, you know, and like the questions that I ask myself. What surprised you the most about putting yourself out there? Like, what caught you off guard in terms of, now it's out, it's available, it's done. Let's see what people think. Like,
yeah.
What didn't you see coming?
So I want to answer that in a metaphorical sense, where not putting out one video, putting out my ideas into the world and seeing what response I get. We know our good and bad sides so well. We've had enough time. We're middle-aged men. We've had enough time to introspect about our strong points and our weak points. And sometimes we feel like we're not being celebrated or valued for our strengths as to the level at which we deserve. Mm-hmm. And by putting myself out there more, I started to realize that a lot of these strong points that I know so well, the people around me don't know because I haven't shared it with them. Mm-hmm. I know it, they don't. So when you walk into a room or you walk into your business and you feel like you're not being appreciated for who you actually are and how good you are, maybe it's because people don't know what you know about yourself. Maybe people don't know that you're so amazing at this. And because maybe you did it twice and you thought that was enough, or you're afraid to let the beautiful sides of you come out, or you think people already know and they don't care, show the world how amazing you are. Mm-hmm. Bring your ideas to life. Come up with an idea as quirky as it may be and do it. And you will be shocked with how much appreciation and attention and respect and just value and love you receive from the people around you. And you're going to feel like that you deserve that. And it fits, because I've always felt like I deserved this attention, but I never got it. Well, it's because you never put it out there.
You got to put it out there.
No one knows.
You got to just press publish, you know, whatever.
Nobody knows how great you are until you show them. So what if it's a video, if it's a project, it's a business, put it out into the world. Mm-hmm. And I always wonder, how do I know if I'm doing the right thing? You're doing the right thing if hitting launch on that metaphorical project thing, bringing that thing to life, scares you, like you're about to face death, like your heart, you're just like, what's going to happen? Then you've done the right thing.
I like that.
That's exactly what you should be doing in this moment.
Martin Scorsese has a quote. It's like, if your old work doesn't make you physically ill, then you suck. You know, I can't remember how he finished it, but like that was the punchline. Like that was the gist of it. If your old work does not make you physically ill, you're not doing it right.
Absolutely.
You know,
and another fun quote, you know, along the lines of this topic is that the biggest risk you can take in life is not taking risks. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some people are always worried about weighing risks, and they never take a risk.
What if I don't do this? What if I don't do that?
Well, not taking any risk was the biggest risk you're ever going to take.
Yeah. Wow. That's a lot of perspective. Jeez. So this is the last question that I have for you. What advice would you give to someone afraid to start? Someone who's hesitant to press the button? Like, what do you have to say to them?
Well, you're probably very young at this point. I mean, if you haven't tried anything at all, you're probably, you know, before 30. Maybe you're older. I don't know, but I want to go on a tangent, and I think we'll answer this question with a tangent. So I have a nephew that was living in Chicago for the majority of his life. He just comes to California a few days back. And when I look at him, he looks just like me, right? You know, physically, the way he looks just like me. And I was a very shy kid. I was very afraid. I had so many ideas and things I wanted to do, but I would always kind of look at it and not want to do it. And I see this young man, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, he's just like me. And I'm happy that he's in California now, because I want to take him around. And if there's one thing I want to accomplish with him spending time with me, it's that I want him to be more comfortable failing and facing his fears. Because I look at him and I'm like, if I can go back to his age and the fear that I had and do everything that I was terrified of, I would have gone through all those things before I hit 30. Mm-hmm. And now there's unresolved. Now I have unfinished business, undisclosed fears that I have to address when I'm 30 that I could have done when I was like 12 or 20 or 25. Yeah. And the consequences would have been minimal. And how many things do you look back at about when you were 18 or 19 that you cringe at, but guess what? Nobody's gonna know. Who's putting out ads of what Ethan did when he was 18? We're paying money to get people's attention onto something, and it's barely enough.
Yeah.
You think this thing you did 20 years ago is gonna be so impactful and so bad that people are gonna remember it forever? So the advice I want my cousin to actually let's pause for a second for the ambulance. So the studio is located in Old Town Orange, right next to a fire department. So we always add a little bit of salt to our episodes.
Yeah, a little bit of variety. You know, spice is the variety of life. Or no, variety is the spice of life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the advice I want to give to my cousin, my nephew, is whatever you're afraid of, face it now before the consequences and the time that it takes to recover and all the things that come with failing and taking risks become so unbearable that you can't afford to face your fears anymore. Do it now, because the longer you wait, the harder it's going to get. The greater the fear is going to be. The less time you have to address these failures and these hiccups and these mistakes. Just do it. And it sounds super cliche, but like, just get it done. Do it. Fail. Just fail. Like, what's wrong with failing? You know what I mean?
You have to. Like, you can't get better at anything if you don't mess up.
Yeah, just go, whatever that thing is, charge at it. And even if a lot of people talk about like envisioning success, and I never felt like that worked for me. For me, what makes me jump when I don't want to is like, okay, I'm so afraid of this, but I know I have to do it. I tell myself today, I'm going to go fail at that. I'm just going to fail. And let's get the failure out the way. Let's get as many failures out the way so I can start seeing some success.
And start to feel comfortable with failure too.
Start to feel comfortable with failure. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. My advice is the fear, address it now before it's too late, and be excited to fail.
That's great perspective. I saw a thing once with a guy who I think he had trouble talking to girls. This was a long time ago, this video I saw. So what he did was he went out for a day. Just any woman he saw on the street, he's ordering food at the drive-thru. He asked the girl giving his food out. He just lady walking by in the mall. Anything.
Bro, you know how freeing that is?
But and he knew they were gonna say no. Why would they say yes? You know, and he knows that. But just like being told no and being okay with it, being at peace with that, for him was what made him comfortable with it. You know what I mean? And that makes him more, I guess it gives him a thicker skin. 100%. You know?
And I believe in that training that he's talking about. Yeah. I believe in that so much that I have my own form of that training, which is every few months I'll do a pop-up photo shoot or video shoot in a street, usually in Old Town Orange, where I'll put my softbox out there and I'll pull out my camera and I'll put a sign that says free photos. And I won't just sit there and wait for people to take or not take their photo. I'll start walking up to people and I'll say, would you like a free photo? And it's the weirdest thing ever, because like I'm actually walking and everyone sees me talking to other people and they're like, what's he going to come ask us? What's up with this guy? And like, they're just like, he seems like he's got it all together and he's doing, what's going on here? It's a bunch of question marks. So I'll walk up to these people and say, would you like a free photo? And some of them are like, no, I don't want my photo online. Some of them are like, no, get out of here. Some of them are like, absolutely. Some of them are like, yes, please. I haven't had a photo. I have a prom coming up, or I have an event coming up. Yeah. So just practicing at minimal risk, because there's no risk. When they say no, it just feels a little bad that you got rejected. But you're not losing anything. It's not affecting your business.
And you have nothing to lose when they say no.
You have nothing, but it still feels like rejection.
It still feels like rejection.
It feels exactly like any other form of rejection. And once I go through that exercise and I go home, I'm like, okay, so it wasn't that bad. Let's do that in business tomorrow. Let's go reach out to new businesses.
That's cool.
It helps a lot.
Apply that to your business. You know.
I highly recommend, if you've never done anything in the street where you are offering, it can be anything. You can literally be like, have a little pop-up stand and put up a sign that says, give me the best piece of advice that you can give me. And just have people walk up and then either film it or have them write it down. Put yourself in a position where you're asking people for something and there's a potential for them to say no. But do that, and you will be shocked at why you've never experienced this before. Why have I never tried this before?
Yeah.
Because you'll start to realize that a lot of the beliefs you have about your abilities were only based on 2 or 3 experiences of rejection. And if you kept going, because sometimes it's shocking. It's like you ask 4 people something and they're like, absolutely not. And the 4th one's like, dude, like, take this.
Yeah.
Here's $1 million or something, like a crazy offer. And you're like,
they only have to say yes once.
I didn't see that. I would have stopped at number 3. Like, so yes, practice rejection training. If you want to do it with girls, be respectful, kind. And if you get good at like being attractive to women, please don't manipulate that for bad things. But if that's your thing,
if that's how you choose to go about practicing that, yeah,
just be ethical. But yeah, just do whatever you got to do to practice rejection.
That's awesome. That's great perspective, man. Well, that was the last of my questions. That was just, I wanted to be able to give perspective to people who have ideas and want to get their ideas out and make something creative out of something that didn't exist before, maybe solve a problem. I do want to say, if you are in Southern California and you are in the Orange County area, in Old Town Orange, definitely come rent out the space. You know, if you have a podcast that you want to start, it's a great, I mean, this place is, I haven't really wanted to do a podcast up until now, to be honest, because I was never in the right space for it. You know what I mean? I was just in my office at home, and then it's a bedroom converted into an office. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and this is
that's success to me. What you just said, that's fulfilling.
Yeah,
when we talk about fulfillment.
Yeah, man. Like from going into like the corner of a dining room, like having that be my content spot, to now like I have a dedicated room,
intentional space.
Yes, specifically for that thing. I won. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy with that. I never saw it as like, I don't know if I could do podcasts there, but I don't think I'd want to now that I've been here, to be honest.
Well, this is your second studio, bro. Anytime you're in Old Town Orange,
appreciate
and
it,
you
bro.
want to interview, and you know, for the viewers, me and Ethan have an amazing friendship. It was completely built on creativity projects. We met at the Huntington Beach Pier 5 years ago.
Completely random. He's flying his drone. I had recently moved to California, and I was looking for creatives to kind of chat with. And I just talked to Ethan, and he approached me. Like, I had no idea who this dude was. I thought he was asking me about a job or something, or if he wanted to hire me for a job. But yeah, he had the guts to just ask the question and, you know, take that risk of being rejected somehow. Yes. And it paid off. And like, look, here we are now.
And now, you know, Ethan, you've grown an enormous amount, man. Your personality, your presentation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shocked and I'm inspired by you, and
thank you, bro.
Iron sharpens iron, and I feel every time we reach out and we meet again, I'm like, all right, like this is who I'm dealing with. Like, we got to grow, because next time me and Ethan meet, we have to be on the next level.
Yeah,
and we got to keep doing this.
Yeah,
and I'm thankful to God that I've met you, and we've had this amazing relationship that's built on just growth, productivity. It's always been a positive experience. We've made money together. We've shot weddings together. We always have consultation calls, whether I'm calling you or you're calling me, asking about an endeavor and sharing our experiences. And this is if I look back at my life and what I achieved from filmmaking was building these connections, then that alone is enough for me. Having these friendships.
Yeah, the connections, and it's really corny, but like the treasure wasn't the gold at the end. You know, it was the friends we made along the way.
1,000%.
Is corny as it is, as much as I hate the corniness associated with that. It's so true.
It's not corny at all, bro. That's life.
It's so true. You know, because like you can't go anywhere in this field without knowing someone somewhere somehow. Yes. You know, and iron sharpens iron, and if you don't have somebody keeping you accountable for trying to stay in here and just like checking up, just because like to me, my growth feels like, I don't want to say stagnant, because I know I'm growing. I can see it in the numbers and the charts and the trends and stuff. But to me, it's just like, well, I mean, I have the same thing I had yesterday. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
I'm not. It feels like it hasn't gone anywhere, because it's slow. You know,
very slow.
Progress is slow and it's gradual. And if you're not like from here to there to here to there to here to there like every day, maybe it doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. But in these moments where like I can connect with Leo and, you know, and just check in after a while, it's like, damn, yeah, we're doing good. Because the last time I had a real conversation with him was right after I really started attacking YouTube. Man, I think that was in like October, November. Yeah. It's been 8 months,
but it feels like years ago.
It doesn't feel like it was recent at all. I don't think. So, but it's good, because like it's a measurement for where we are and like how far we've come and what we're doing, you know? So, Leo's definitely a great contact to have in this space. Somebody to work with. And yeah, if you have ideas you want to get going with, and if you have a podcast or something you want to start, this is the space to do it. And I'll leave links in the description, and I'll put stuff on screen as well for you to check out.
And you can follow me at Visuals by Leo on Instagram.
Yep.
You can something as simple as a DM could initiate the rental experience of the studio.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for having me in the space. This is an eye-opening experience to how fun this is, and it's another aspect of production that I didn't really have much experience in, but it's just I know I'm in the right job because I enjoy my time in the space. So thank you for bringing me in and allowing me to come here with you.
Thank you for being here, bro. This was amazing.
Awesome. Thank you for watching.